We're at the COM show, and I'm in the booth of, what's your name?
Keith Austin.
Keith Austin. And let me just video that so we make sure we get Keith Austin right, and it's a pretty straightforward name. Now, is that the name of your business? Is it Keith Austin, or why don't you just tell it to me? Just tell it to me.
Well, I just want you to know that there are two of us, my wife and I. Keith Austin's World Video is my business. Hers is Fantasy Stage Productions, and she is an art publisher.
Okay.
And I'm a businessman.
Let's say in terms of at this show today, your booth, what do you call your booth here today?
Well, we just call it our fine art exhibition.
But is it Keith? We'll just go with Keith Austin.
All right, great.
And I see that you specialize in a couple different styles. Well, speaking of your wife, this is a sensational painting, photorealistic here. That's really good.
Thank you. It does look just like her.
And so, what are the different artists that you represent here?
Well, we have an eclectic collection.
But why don't you tell me about two or three of the main ones?
Well, you know Thomas Kincaid, who passed away
Thomas Kincaid.
Just 2 years ago.
Now, I assume these are some examples of Thomas Kincaid's work.
Right.
We have this one. It has a sort of a Disney-fied Cinderella. So what's the name of this one here?
It's actually called Cinderella.
Cinderella.
You know, and the one next to it is even more important as far as things go.
Let's stay focused on this one. So this is Cinderella, and I see it sells for $9,800. And about what year would you say this was done?
This was done in about 2003 or 2004.
Okay, so it's
about... It was the second in the series. Tom was commissioned by Disney to do 12 of them, starting in 2002. The first one that he did was Snow White.
It was here. And there is Snow White. Look,
right, that's right.
She's looking dazzling, and there she's looking at this. She's looking at this home.
Her cabin, right? And this one goes for almost $20,000.
Oh, $20,000.
Right.
So this was the first in the series.
That's right.
And this was the second. Now
this is the third, and that's the fourth in the series.
Well, you have you have four in a series in a series of 12. Now, do you have in your domain? Do you have all of them, or is this the totality of what you have in that?
Well, in our inventory, this is all we have.
Okay.
There's no more available from any Kincaid dealers in the world. It's only available on the secondary market, and these are what are called studio proofs. Thomas had a whole pyramid of different kinds of paintings. One was the master, and the master had to be given to Disney and put into their vaults. Okay, so Disney has the master. Then
now, what is the master? What is a master?
Is the oil on canvas.
So it's an actual real painting.
It's a real painting, right?
And that's the master.
The second grade down would be one copy or one giclée, 40 by 60 inches. They sold for about $54,000.
Now that's something that is printed.
It's printed. It's a giclée, right? Then the second tier down is this tier called studio proofs. Studio proofs were 20 made only. So you've got, your master, and you got one copy, and then each of these, there are 20 copies available. They're all numbered, limited editions with authentication certificates signed by Tom, and these are signed by Tom, with his original signature.
So a studio proof. Now, what is the process of making a studio proof? Is this printed through some special process?
It's a high-grade photograph this is not a photograph, but the giclée process is to photograph the painting, the original art, and then to on a really high resolution, and then print them on canvas.
Would you have an idea of, when you say that a really high resolution, would you have some idea of roughly how high that resolution is? How many dots per square inch that would be?
30,000 dots per square inch.
So 30,000
instead of 600 or 150.
Or instead of I use 150 dots.
Right,
this is what was that number again?
30,000 dots.
30,000 dots per square inch.
The cameras are very expensive.
I would assume so.
The cameras are about this big, and
so when you say that, is that 4x5 or what size?
Yeah, it's like a 4x5, only it's with electronic receptors of 4x5. huge receptor.
So would you know the megapixel? I mean, that kind of camera
No,
probably
I don't.
sells for like $50,000 or something
Yeah,
like
the cameras
that.
are $50,000, right? But then what happens here, Tom then on his studio proof is that he takes it with his own hand and then enhances it, because if you look at it carefully, you will see places.
Oh, he
where-
kind of tweaks it.
where he tweaks it, like these flowers are tweaked, and they're three-dimensional. If you put your finger on it, and so this is really paint.
So now, does he tweak every
did.
one of these just to make sure that the hand of the master was on it, or do they need tweaking?
Well, I think he did it to make more money. I
Yeah.
mean, where you could take one thing.
But
And
are there ones of these when they're printed that they come out perfect
Yeah.
that he would tweak anyhow, just so his personal brush had touched that? Is that the way it goes,
What
or
puts
does
value
he?
to it? That puts value to it. That's all. You know,
And so the tweaking is that he finds these little flaws and corrects the flaws.
no,
is that
it's not, no, they're all perfect. I mean, when the giclée is made, it's perfect, and the tweaking is just to add value.
Now the tweaking is the tweaking. So there's 20 of these.
That's
Is
20
the
of those.
is the tweaking
Right.
at all 20 in different places, or is the tweaking
You know what? I
in the
don't
same
know that
place?
information. I really don't know that information. There's 20 of these. There's 20 of those. There's 20 of those.
My theory would be
Right.
that they'd be tweaked in the same place, and the reason
me
is
too.
that they'd be more efficient.
That's
So
right.
there you go. Just tweak it, tweak it, tweak it.
Right.
Okay.
That's what I think Tom does. And so, I mean, that's an interesting thing. It's very popular.